But there's one thing a Saiyan always keeps: his pride!
When people talk about Goku and Vegeta's rivalry, most point to their battle in the Saiyan Saga as the iconic one, and yeah, in terms of sheer impact, that fight changed everything. There was some power creep in there, the Kamehameha versus the Gallic Gun, the Spirit Bomb. It's one of the more well-known fights in shonen history. But to me, the fight that actually matters the most, the one that tells us everything about who they are and who they've become, is the battle during the Buu Saga. Because by the time that fight happens, Vegeta has spent over a decade living alongside Goku and the other Z fighters. He's not an outsider anymore. He's built a home on Earth. He's married, he's a father, he's not the cold-blooded killer he once was. And while he would never say it out loud, it's clear that the time he spent on Earth had changed him. Goku's influence, just by existing, started to reshape who Vegeta was. And I think deep down, and I mean way deep down, Vegeta appreciated that. Not in the way he could process emotionally, but in the way he began to carry himself. Life on Earth was simpler, easier, peaceful, and for once, he had something to care about outside of himself, a family and a future. This was a version of peace he was starting to find comfort in, but that peace came with a price. For someone like Vegeta who grew up in chaos, violence, and constant conquest, peace started to feel unnatural, almost like a betrayal of who he thought he was supposed to be. The closer he got to comfort, the more wrong it felt, and that's where the conflict inside of him started to grow. Because he knew exactly why he had changed. It was Goku. It was always Goku. The same Goku who had always been one step ahead. Stronger on Namek, stronger against Frieza, the first to become a Super Saiyan. Even after they trained in the hyperbolic time chamber, Goku still came out ahead. And after Goku sacrificed himself during the Cell games, that gap, that unresolved distance became permanent. So when Goku comes back to Earth for the World Martial Arts Tournament, it's the perfect opportunity. Vegeta's been training for years. He's been waiting for a chance to finally prove that he's better. But of course, things don't go as planned. The tournament gets derailed by the emergence of a new threat, and in the chaos, Vegeta senses it. Goku is still stronger, and that does something to him. It reignites something in Vegeta that we thought had burned out years ago, a fire that we as an audience weren't even sure was still there. And that's when he makes the decision that changes everything. He lets Babidi take control of his body in exchange for power. Now on paper, that sounds like betrayal, a complete regression. He kills innocent people, he aligns himself with the dark force, but I don't see it as a regression. No matter what he said, I don't think Vegeta let Babidi in because he wanted to go back to being evil. I think he did it because he was desperate to silence the conflict in his mind. This was about shutting out the part of himself that had grown soft, the one that had learned to care, to love, and to let go. That version of him was influenced by Goku, and the only way to get rid of it, at least in his mind, was to become a monster again. Even Goku doesn't understand it. He literally asks, "You let Babidi take control of you?" And Vegeta says yes. Not because he had no choice, but because he wanted to go back. He says it outright. "I wanted Babidi to return me to the way I was before, that old, cold-hearted warrior." But here's the thing, he can't go back. He can say those words, he can try to claw his way back into that darkness, but it's too late. He's already changed. He's already felt love. He's felt peace. He's seen what it's like to fight for something other than himself, and you can't unfeel that. So, Goku and Vegeta fight. And it's wild because on the surface, this is just a long-awaited rematch. It's brutal, beautifully choreographed, explosive, personal, but underneath the surface, it's kinda sad. Because what is Vegeta really trying to prove here? That he's stronger? That he can still tap into that old rage? That he can still be the villain? And even if he wins, what then? What does that change? And halfway through the fight, or maybe even before it started, I think Vegeta realizes that this fight was pointless. Not because Goku isn't a worthy opponent, definitely not that, but because no matter what happens, it won't fix what's broken inside of him. It won't restore his pride.
Spend most of your life ruled by another.
It won't change his past with Frieza.
Watch your race dwindle to a handful.
It won't erase the changes he's gone through, and if anything,
and then tell me what has more meaning than your own strength.
This whole fight might have been Vegeta's way of destroying himself, his image, his pride, even his body, and in a way, he does all three. But through all of this, Goku stays the same. He doesn't really try to talk Vegeta out of it because he knows. He understands that Vegeta needs this, not for closure, not for pride, but because maybe it's the only way that he can move forward. And then, Buu awakens. Whether either of them want it to be or not, the fight is over. And in the chaos that follows, we finally see Vegeta change. And I mean for real this time. And it wasn't out of anger or desperation, but out of love. He asks Goku for a sensu bean and then knocks him out cold, because what comes next, Vegeta needs to do alone. He goes to face Majin Buu, not because he thinks he'll win, but because he knows he won't. He's not doing this to defeat Buu. Of course he hopes he does, but he's doing this to protect the people he's grown to care about. He says goodbye to his son, knocks him out cold so he doesn't have to see what happens next, and then he has one of the most honest, quiet moments in the entire saga, his conversation with Piccolo. It's short, but it's powerful. Vegeta asks if he'll go to Otherworld like Goku did, and Piccolo, without sugarcoating it, tells him, no. The life Vegeta has led isn't one that will be smiled upon on Judgment Day. And Vegeta, ironically, he smiles. Not because he's proud, but because he accepts it. He finally lets go. And when he self-destructs to try and stop Buu, it isn't a warrior's attack, it isn't a pride-fueled finale, it's an act of protection. One fueled by love for his son, for Bulma, and even the clown he calls Kakarot. This was for the planet he once tried to destroy. That was Vegeta's final fight, not just on the battlefield, but within himself. The war that raged inside him for years finally ended. And we still had to watch the rest of the Buu saga play out. Vegeta comes back, Goku comes back, they fuse, they unfuse, they end up fighting together on the world of the Kais against Kid Buu, but in that final confrontation, Vegeta doesn't just fight next to Goku, he finally accepts Goku. He admits that Goku is the best, not with resentment, not with jealousy, just honesty. All the reasons I laid out back in the first part of this series, Vegeta voices them himself, and it's the most complete he's ever been. Vegeta ends Dragon Ball Z not only as a prince, not only as a rival, but as a man who finally found something greater than pride, something worth protecting, something worth changing for. And that was never in the script. It wasn't in Frieza's plan. Vegeta carved out that future for himself, and it wasn't clean, it wasn't graceful, it was real. And somehow, Goku and Vegeta, two men on opposite paths, end up living almost the same life. Two kids, two strong wives, two warriors who found peace, two lives shaped by each other. And in the final part of this series, we'll finally answer the question this rivalry has always led us towards. Who won? And not just in terms of strength. I want to thank you for getting to the end of the video. If this is your first time here, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this. With that being said, this is Matt and thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one.